Hi everyone, this is Kyle with kayDbait. I just finished my last video. This will be video 11, the steps of a debate and how to relate to the ending of a debate and the aftermath of a debate. The steps of a debate are fairly simple. Before a debate is started, there's the research phase, where you know the topics beforehand. You know what will be discussed in the debate, whether it be a general topic such as politics or very specific ones such as an individual topic within that subject, such as abortion, gay marriage, are chips tasty, things like that. You'll have that information, at least in a broad sense. And then generally they have a questionnaire where they have a person asking the questions, and then they'll have one person respond and another person respond, and they have their own ideas, and then they usually have the rebuttal phase where one person will respond to somebody's answer, and then sometimes they even have another layer of that where there's a rebuttal to the rebuttal, and then maybe again. But in the end, when everything is said and done, how do you end a debate? Well, generally you have the person asking the questions will say, "Thank you very much, blah, 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 whoever you are, leave." And then they leave. They don't have an after discussion together. They go their separate ways because a debate is not generally seen as a social activity. It's more used for like a lecture kind of thing where they have somebody on a podium and they have the audience and they have the opponent to the side. And it's a very combative type format. I disagree with that format in that I feel it's more of a competition than some kind of lecture, but it's effective in what it's trying to do politically, which is it's a political arena. They are fighting. And I disagree with that simply on the premise that it is undermining information for publicity and popularity. But the format itself, the idea of a person, unbiased, hopefully unbiased person asking the questions and then the people answering them and responding to the answers, I like that format. I like the idea that they are given the questions and then allowed to answer them, and that there are strict regulations to not be interrupted, to not be demeaned, and to have some kind of rule set so that people that don't necessarily have the ability to debate are shown through these regulations on how to properly debate. Now, all that aside, when it's over and they go their separate ways, how do people normally react to a debate? Well, they say, well, I just won that, or I just lost that, or I said something stupid, or, I could have elaborated more on this. And you're thinking about all the things you did. You're thinking, I could have done better, or I did great, or whatever you're thinking in your head. That is not the best way to respond to the end of a debate. What you should be thinking about the most is what they said. What did they say? Do you even remember? Well, they said this stupid thing, and they said this other thing that I disagree with. No, not those things. The things that they were mainly talking about. You can disagree. You can disagree with everything they said, but some of the things they say, if you're speaking to anyone who has any debating ability or any information on the subject you're talking about at all, what did they say that was valid? What did they say, regardless of you agreeing or not, that was still reasonable? Those are the things you have to remember, and because if you take nothing from a debate, you have lost. Whether you persuaded other people, if that's your agenda, it wasn't a debate. That was an argument. But if it was a debate, if you went there to inform and be informed, you will want to know what the other person said and remember what the other person said, because that is the most valid part. That is the most important part for why you were personally being spoken to. Not necessarily as the whole, because obviously the things you say is valid to them and to the audience, and what they say to you is valid to you and the audience. But to you, what they say to you is the most important part for you to learn. Because you're not going to learn from yourself speaking. You're not going to learn from the audience listening. You're going to learn from them speaking. And people forget that. They're trying to win. They're trying to argue the best. They're not trying to listen the best. They're not trying to learn. They're trying to win. And that's why I don't like it as a combative situation. I want it as a discussion. Yes, argument type discussion, but still a discussion where both people make valid points and both people learn and progress. The aftermath of a debate should not be to analyze your own arguments. It's to understand what your opponent was trying to say. And obviously I use opponent because that's the format that's being used in the media. But what did they say? The last time you had an argument or a debate or a discussion of any kind with somebody, what did you take away from it? What did you learn from it? It was probably an argument with a friend, spouse, coworker, schoolmate, somebody. It was probably an argument. It was probably said, hey, you did this thing wrong or dumb, or I disagree with it, or I hate the way you do this, or whatever it is. And you weren't internalizing what they're saying. You were trying to fight it. You were trying to say, well, no, I'm not wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong for saying I'm wrong. And in the end, you go off on a huff, they go off on a huff, and you're not thinking about what the other person said. You're thinking about how unfairly they said it. And it's not that. Obviously, sometimes, probably a lot of times, the other person is saying something to hurt you or to demean you or to make you feel badly so that they can manipulate you into doing what they want. But that's not always the case. And if all you're thinking is that that is the case, and you're not giving them the benefit of the doubt that they might be right, then you're not going to learn. And sometimes that is really important. Obviously, you cannot give somebody the benefit of the doubt if they are abusing you, verbally, mentally, psychologically, whatever you want to call it. If they're abusing you, obviously you should get out of that quickly. But if they're not trying to abuse you, if they just want to be understood, stop leaving your dirty socks in the kitchen. Why are they even in the kitchen? I don't understand why you're doing this. Well, it's just, I was tired. Took my shoes off and when I was cooking, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Think about that. Why did you leave those in there? It takes 2 seconds to take them out of the kitchen. I've had a similar argument with my ex-wife about that. And it was, what was it? I was leaving something somewhere. I think it was a towel in the bathroom. It's like, yes, I should actually pick that up. I shouldn't leave it there. It was me being lazy. I was wrong. But at the time, I was just like, well, I was tired. I was this. I was that. And it's like, me. But they had valid points. It's like, why didn't I just do that? It's like, okay, in the future, I will. And sometimes it takes a lot of self-analysis to realize that you are wrong. And I'm laughing because it's so stupid that people will just say things like, I don't care what you say, I'm right. And without listening to them, without context, without anything, it's just like, shut up, leave me alone, you're wrong. And I'm laughing because that's what a lot of people, including myself, have done in those kinds of situations. Who are you to tell me how to live my life? Who are you to say I can't do this that is not important? Well, if they brought it up, it is. That's important. If it's important enough for them to say, maybe they have their priorities really mixed up. But maybe, just maybe, they're right. The opponent, the person that you have been fighting, might be right. And if you can't understand that concept, that basic human, gift of belief that they might be right, you are not treating them like a human being. You are treating them like some kind of adversary that is there to destroy you. And it's just so messed up. And that's it. That is what you walk away with. You have to not do that. Just treat them like they were human. Treat them like it could have been you on the other side. If you have to. I mean, treat them like another person, but if you can only do it by thinking of yourself, do that. There's so many different ways of just integrating and understanding and listening that people just don't consider at all. It's like, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to you. And it bothers me. It makes me laugh because it's so stupid. But I've done it. You've done it. Everyone has done it. So step back. When the debate is over, think about the different things they said. The context. Don't try to spin it. Ever. Take it at the value that it was given to you. Research it if you have to. And then come to a conclusion. And then, if you have to, do it again. Have another debate. New information. Maybe both sides changed. Hopefully both sides changed, because now you have new information. So do that. Do everything. That's it. And it is a progression. So don't be afraid of it. Don't worry about, I have to be right, or they have to be wrong. Think of it as a progressive learning experience, which is what it's supposed to be. And the video is getting long. I'm going to end this video, and peace.